O chosen one, if you are reading this now, it signifies that heaven has established a covenant with your soul. This is not merely an everyday message. This is a divine summons. What you are hearing is not mere entertainment. It is a revelation, a warning, and an invitation all at once. This moment is sacred and is by no means a coincidence. You did not reach this image simply because you felt like it. Whether you clicked with a purpose or paused out of curiosity, there is a reason why God has drawn your attention. Something is happening in the spiritual realm right now. Divine vibrations have already begun to move. The spiritual air enveloping the earth is changing. And this message is proof of what your soul has already felt, but has not yet been able to express in words. Have you not felt it? The weight of emotions that appear and disappear without reason. The sudden changes in those around you, though you may not clearly understand why. The strong urge to distance yourself from certain habits, places, or people. The anxiety that persists within your mind even when everything appears to be going smoothly on the surface. These are not coincidences. These are spiritual indicators, alarms, and warnings. God is on the move. God is rebuilding the spiritual order, reorganizing destiny, and purifying what has been defiled and compromised. This is a divine reset. And it is not only on a global scale, but also personal. It is about your mind, your way of being, and your mission. God is speaking to you now. Guard your spirit before the situation turns upside down. Now is not the time to let your mind wander. It is not the time to be spiritually passive or emotionally numb. You have been called to fully awaken. No further delay is permitted. There is no need to wait for a sign. This is that sign. Only those who are spiritually awake know how to respond when everything begins to shake. He intends to clearly distinguish between those who treat the mission of this time like a toy and those who walk the path of that mission. You are not here to assimilate into the surroundings. You have been chosen to stand up. You have been chosen to lead. You have been chosen to carry the light when the darkness deepens. That is why your recent struggles have been heavy, your solitude deepened, and the clarity of your thoughts has been under attack. This is because you have been detected by the radar of the heavens. Now, before we discuss in depth what lies ahead, I ask that you perform a symbolic and prophetic act to align your mind with this message in a visible form. Please write the number 999 in the comment section below. Why 999? It is because 999 is a number that signifies divine completion and spiritual awakening. It signifies the end of something, but not an end in fear, but an end as fulfillment. It means that the cycle of stagnation has ended. Heaven is closing the chapter of your life so far and opening the scroll to reveal the person you must become. It marks a period in the natural world and represents activation in the supernatural world. When you write 999, it is not merely participation. You are making a prophecy. You are agreeing with what heaven is doing in your life. It is saying, "Oh God, I am hearing your voice. I am awake. I am ready." Do not regard that comment as mere manipulation on the screen. Treat it as a declaration that shakes the spiritual realm. Type it boldly. Type it with prayer. And do not forget that every single line is a signal to God. A signal that this person is listening. Here, I express my gratitude to all the chosen ones who are listening to this message. Your presence is deeply respected. Thanks to you, this message will travel further. It will reach more lives and awaken more minds. You are not merely a viewer, but a partner cultivating spiritual territory. Your very existence is a gift, and your interest is sacred. Please stay with me until the very end of this message. I promise. If your mind has been drawn to these words, it is because specific instructions for your life are hidden within the words that follow. Do not close the screen out of fear. Do not conclude that this is unimportant out of doubt. What lies before your eyes requires clarity. And clarity is attained only when you remain in that place to listen to God's word to the very end. Therefore, compose yourself, focus, and prepare your mind. Change has already begun, and God intends to reveal everything you need before it fully unfolds. Let us delve deeper. O chosen one, a divine wave is surging in. It is not merely a temporary change, but a cosmic readjustment sent by the hand of God. An unstoppable spiritual force, invisible to the eye, is attempting to envelop the entire earth. Do you not feel the pressure intensifying within your mind? This is not an illusion. It is the final warning before the storm of transformation arrives. Those who are unprepared, those who laugh it off, and those who ignore it will be left bewildered by the reality they did not believe in. Now is not the time to hesitate. God is sounding the alarm for your soul because you are no ordinary being. You have been chosen. This awakening is not a coincidence. It is precise, calculated, and taking place at divine timing. And as the chosen one, you are required to determine your position regarding what lies ahead. Are you clothed in spiritual armor in preparation for the coming lawman? Are your roots planted deep enough to withstand what is approaching the horizon? The Lord will strengthen you and keep you from the evil one. This is from 2 Thessalonians 3 verses 3. Consider Noah. When others mocked him, saying that light would not fall, Noah built the ark in obedience to God's warning. He was ridiculed until the rain came. But when the rain came, he was the only one who was prepared. What if your current obedience became the ark that would carry you through the flood? What if your preparation were the only thing that separated survival from destiny? There are modern examples of people who have received divine preparation and grace, just like Noah. Oprah Winfrey faced deep trauma and hardship, yet she never abandoned her spiritual roots. She consistently speaks of divine timing and the inner preparation that precedes great success. Her story is a tale of a dramatic reset leading from pain to strength, from despair to global influence. This illustrates how crucial inner adjustment is before a breakthrough occurs. You are now at the edge of a spiritual sea where powerful waves are about to crash. The choice is clear. Will you ride the wave or be swept away by it? Will you embrace the city reset and rise to the heights? Or will you resist and face the onslaught of fire? This change is not what the world expects. It is not political or cultural. It is spiritual. And it will expose everything that does not align with the truth. However, as the chosen one, you are prepared not merely to survive, but to lead others. This is a divine mission. Are you entrusting everything to that preparation? Put on the full armor of God, so that you may be able to stand against the relationship of the devil. This is the word of Ephesians 6:11. Look at Nelson Mandela. He was imprisoned for decades. However, that time of isolation became a period of preparation for him. The world saw the confinement, but God saw the time of sanctification. When the time came, Mandela was not merely released, but exalted. What if the delays or restrictions in your life were not punishment, but preparation for leadership in a new world? Spiritual protection is not simply avoiding danger. It is choosing divine adjustment over worldly temptations. It is entrusting your emotions, thoughts, and insights to be guarded by the Holy Spirit. The enemy is cunning. It does not attack with fire, but approaches with distractions, doubt, and delay. In this way, God is calling you to prepare now, before it is too late. The wise man sees the danger and hides himself, but the fool goes out and suffers harm. This is from Proverbs 27:12. Chosen one, do not consider the signs around you to be mere coincidences. Rising anxiety, a strange sense that something great is about to happen. These are spiritual birth pangs. The world is groaning, and you, the chosen one, are waking up not to fall into despair, but to lead. Think of Malala Yousafzai. Although she became a target of extremists at a young age, she was chosen by God to speak the truth of the world. Even after facing death, her voice grew louder. Why? Because her purpose was sealed in heaven long before humans could try to silence her. Likewise, what is it that the book is trying to silence you? Is it not the very indicator that your voice will carry the weight of the next season? If you feel the urge to step back and readjust, listen to that voice. It is not weakness, it is wisdom. The divine reset does not wait until you are ready. It comes regardless of your consent or wealth, but only the prepared can soar with it. Only the faithful can understand what happens when others are confused and falling apart. And you were chosen to know that. You were chosen to lead. Therefore keep watch, for you do not know when your Lord will come. This is from Matthew 24, verse 42. Consider Steve Jobs. Before launching into the world-changing work, he placed himself in silence and simplicity, allowing intuition and spiritual insight to guide his decisions. His path was not in the noise, but in inner clarity. If you too want to clearly hear God's next instructions, you must step out of the noise of this world. What is God whispering to you at this very moment? Before this change comes, which doors is God urging you to close? What preparations have you ignored or pushed away? The truth is this: the reset does not stop for anyone. It comes with divine power. Only those who are spiritually rooted can endure it. You are not chosen because you are perfect. You are chosen because you obey. It is not your outward appearance that was chosen, but your very being. The time of reckoning is near. This is your final period of preparation. What you do now determines what you will become after the transformation. When the world clings to comfort, you are being called to holiness. When others are in a panic, if you are prepared, you will be able to stand firm. O chosen, embrace this truth with your heart. Being chosen by God does not mean your path will be smooth. Rather, it often means your trials will be heavier, your storms more violent, and your tests more frequent. This is because the consecrated one carries the divine transformation not only for himself, but also for others. Have you never wondered why your life is harder than others, or why hardships repeat themselves when you are merely seeking good? It is because you are not an ordinary person. You have been sealed for a greater work. God allows fire not to destroy you, but to retire you. The coming divine reset will not exclude you, but if you stand firm, endure, and emerge stronger, it will exalt you. Beloved, do not be surprised as though something strange were happening to you in the fiery trial that comes upon you to test you. This is the word of 1 Peter 4:12. Let us take J.K. Rowling as an example. Before achieving worldwide fame, she faced deep poverty, rejection from various publishers, and the hardships of being a single mother. Yet even in her darkest times, she held on to her faith. Faith in purpose, faith in the unseen. What if the pressure you are currently experiencing is not a punishment, but preparation for a breakthrough? What if the battle you are facing now is spiritual birth pangs before a divine mission is born? This divine reset is not the end. It is a sweep. God intends to sweep the earth with spiritual power to drive out what is no longer of any help, dismantle systems of deception, and reveal the truth in its purest form. And you, the chosen one, are part of this global manufactured species. You are not merely surviving these changes. You exist to interpret and internalize them, helping others move forward. The water that abides in me and bears fruit, the Father cuts it off, and the water that bears fruit, it prunes it so that it may bear more fruit. This is the verse from John 15. What distinguishes you from others is not your appearance or your achievements. It is your spiritual vision that penetrates what others overlook. While many are struggling merely to survive, you have been called to transcend. It is not simply about overcoming, but about ascending to spiritual awakening and divine clarity to take a step toward your rightful role as a leader of this generation. Think of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He was not merely a leader, he was an instrument of moral awakening. He gazed beyond the law toward the soul of the nation. Even when persecuted and threatened, his spiritual clarity did not cloud over. Like him, you may feel loneliness regarding your convictions and be misunderstood regarding your mission. But know this: alignment with the truth is what grants you authority in this era of change. The coming transformation is not merely a global shift. It is spiritual purification. Do you not feel the pressure building up in the atmosphere? Have you never felt a sudden anxiety in the hearts of those around you? It is no coincidence. It is the beginning of a sacred upheaval to clear away the spiritual fog that has blinded millions of people and to shake off the dust and confusion. However, there is a purpose to this storm of purification. Just as the earth uses storms to regenerate the land, God uses spiritual storms to remove falsehoods and allow the truth to rise. And you, the chosen one, were not called to fear the wind, you were called to walk upon it. You are not to be cast aside. You are the lighthouse that people rely on when the heavens darken. Behold, I shall do a new thing. Now it shall appear. Shall you not know it? This is from Isaiah 43:19. Think of Elon Musk. Look not at his fame, but at how he has repeatedly overturned what was once considered impossible. Electric cars, reusable rockets, digital currency. Every move has defied common sense. However, the phenomenon is also a spiritual principle. God often shatters comfort to draw out a purpose. Is there no possibility that the chaos in your life is a sign rather than frustration? What is God trying to clear from your path to give you something greater? This incoming wave, this spiritual power reaches everyone. But for the chosen, its impact is different. When others panic, you will sense it. When others resist, you will recognize it. To you, it means not just a change, but an improvement. It will certainly test you. It will bring buried fears or unhealed wounds to the surface. But it is also about shaping and refining you and setting your spirit on fire. Mountains depart, hills are moved, but my nature shall not depart from me. This is the word of Isaiah 54:10. Look at Rosa Parks. One of her quiet actions moved the nation. It was not because of her brute strength or her rising fame. It was because of her divine position. You do not need to raise your voice like her to change the world. Sometimes, the change you bring about is born from the stillness of your mind and the clarity of your soul. What if the small action God is asking of you right now creates ripples beyond your imagination? Chosen one, you must ride this wave not as a victim of circumstances, but as a rider of the wave called prophecy. The waves may roar, but you are rooted in faith. The wind may howl, but you are protected by a divine purpose. You are not alone. You are not destined to face these waves without guidance. Illegible is your compass, your self, your lifeboat, and your strength. Remember this when circumstances become violent, pressure builds, and old beliefs begin to crumble. God is not breaking you to wound you. He is breaking the things that are burying you. Chosen one, everything you have endured has been for this moment. Pain, loneliness, and strange coincidences that derailed plans. They were never meaningless. They were preparation. You have been spiritually trained for this moment. And now the time has come. This divine wave moving the earth is not there to crush you, it is there to lift you up. However, elevation requires faith. You must recognize what is happening and believe that God has already molded you with enough strength to place you there. Have you never wondered why you could not abandon your faith, even when things did not make sense? Or why you were continuously drawn to the spiritual path no matter how far you drifted? That is not weakness. It is spiritual selection. You were chosen to stand at this very moment, even before the foundations of the world were laid. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever I go. This is from Joshua 1 verse 9. Look at Harriet Tubman. Born into slavery, she received no education and possessed no worldly advantages. However, because she followed a spiritual voice that others could not hear, she became a guide to freedom. When the divine change of life arrived, she did not retreat. She stood up. She moved secretly and powerfully with faith to save many people. This is your moment as Harriet. You have been prepared not merely to survive this wave, but to ride it and guide it, and to be a light for people when the world begins to shake. However, there is something that only a few understand. It is that spiritual power requires spiritual protection. The energy that God is now attempting to unleash is not to be handled lightly. It is like standing before a waterfall. It is beautiful and powerful, but if you do not keep your feet firmly on the ground, you will be overwhelmed. Are you prepared to receive the energy without being swept away by that golden current? Is your mind fixed? Or are you still leaving the door open to temptations that dull your insight? Above all else, guard my heart. The source of life flows from it. This is the word of Proverbs 4:23. O chosen one, this is not about building a wall, but about building a foundation. Protection is not hiding from the world. It means being spiritually attuned to the point where your clarity will not be shaken no matter what hardship comes your way. Prayer is your power line. Meditation is your ground line. Obedience is your shield. Simone Biles stepped away from the Olympic spotlight not because of weakness, but because of wisdom. She too had to discern when to rest, when to speak, and when to move spiritually. Her decision was initially met with ridicule, but eventually earned respect. This was because she valued the foundation of her soul more than the world's rewards. Likewise, do not be afraid to stop when God tells you to rest. That stillness is not retreat, it is a divine strategy. The world is contaminated with energies that cloud the soul: fear, pain, jealousy, and spiritual fog. However, you have been given the power to see beyond the surface. The divine reset is like a loo that purifies the air. It exists not to cause harm, but to open a path for the mind to move freely. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. This is from Psalm 51:10. Imagine a deep house cleaning. It is not merely organizing, it involves digging deep to dust-hidden corners and discarding things that are no longer useful. That is what God is doing to your soul right now. God is not merely rearranging furniture, He is rebuilding the house itself. The pain you thought you had buried, the self-doubt you allowed, the suffering you never grieved, God is bringing them to the surface. Not to wound you, but to heal you. O chosen one, you may feel unpleasantness, anxiety, and strange emotions welling up. But do not panic. Do not run away. These are not signs of failure. They are signs of healing. It is a process of detoxifying the soul from decades of spiritual noise. You are being emptied once to be filled. Just as Michael Jordan used his past failures as fuel to return stronger every time he was frustrated, you too must accept these unpleasant spiritual changes not as proof that something is wrong, but as confirmation that you are growing into something greater. What if your suffering is the gateway to your power? I will repay you with the great army I sent against you, according to the number of the sea that the locusts devoured. This is the word of Joel 2:25. Chosen one, this is not a passive reset. It does not happen on its own while you sit and wait. God is calling you to partnership. This is a moment of co-creation. You must choose to boldly walk into what God is doing. Now is not the time to react, but to act, not the time to shrink back, but to advance. Do not wait for the perfect conditions when God tells you to move. Obedience is your switch. Surrender is your strategy. Adjustment is your right of access. When you stop resisting God and begin to ride His flow, a door that humans can never close opens. Think of Greta Thunberg. She is the young voice that shook the world system. She did not wait to become an adult, nor did she wait to be qualified. She adjusted herself with conviction, and that passion was contagious. Just as she did, you too may feel small, but when your spirit aligns with a divine purpose, your voice takes on heavenly authority. Therefore, I ask once again, what is holding you back from pushing forward? What limiting thoughts are still dominating you? You have already been chosen, so why hesitate? That moment is not coming. It is here, right now. And the power of liberation either crushes those who resist or carries those who are ready. You are not made to drown in this wave. You are destined to lead this wave. If you maintain alignment with God, guard your spirit, protect your heart, and walk within the truth, everything will begin to make sense. Clarity will fill your heart, strength will return to your body, and peace will guard your soul more than ever before. O chosen one, the whole world will feel the vibrations of this divine change. However, not everyone reacts in the same way. This is because, while the waves are earthly, the reactions are individual. While others panic and scramble for answers, you will understand the signs. You have been quietly and secretly preparing for the moment that will soon unfold publicly. This is no coincidence. It is a divine alignment. What has your mind been feeling lately? A sense of wanting to quietly distance yourself from the commotion, silence, introspection, and an urge to seek prayer. It is not a whim. It is the work of the Holy Spirit to align your mind with God's frequency. And now you will see with your own eyes why it says, "The intimacy of Jehovah is with those who fear him, and he will show them his covenant." Ecclesiastes 25:14. Look at Florence Nightingale, the mother of modern nursing. She was not simply healing wounds. She was carrying a new self amidst the chaos. Her quiet devotion in the background brought about a public revolution in healthcare. The chosen often walk an invisible path until the moment their purpose is revealed. You too, as a chosen one, are about to take a step forward at the moment your own veil is lifted. To those who walk with faith, this divine transformation will feel like an activation. You will feel a spiritual liberation, your talents will be honed, your purpose will become clear, and your boldness will be restored. The veil between you and the divine directive will thin. Conversation with God will become clearer. Then what happens to those who were not in alignment? What happens when the change reaches those who are unprepared? They will feel it too. However, it may manifest as confusion, disorientation, or emotional heaviness. It is not a punishment. It is a spiritual contrast. It is like the same wave that lifts a surfer sweeping away a foundationless building. Are you spiritually strengthened to ride this wave? Or are you merely hoping to survive? In my days there will be peace, and there will be abundance of salvation, wisdom, and knowledge. This is the word of Isaiah 33 verses 6. Think of the guarantor, Chedden. The world knew him as a powerful actor, but behind the stage he was elegantly fighting terminal symptoms and praying in secret. His purpose never wavered. He spent his last few years not in despair, but to make an impact. It was because he was spiritually connected to the nation that he was able to fulfill a physically grueling role. What about you? Are you prepared to fulfill your mission even when no one knows the depth of your struggle? The boundary between the prepared and the unprepared lies not in superiority or inferiority, but in position. God does not judge people by their outward appearance, but he respects the faithful. This difference is not eternal, but it reveals the current state. It shows who has chosen intimacy with God and who has chosen distance. Chosen one, which side have you chosen recently? Intimacy or mission? Draw near to God, and he will draw near to you. This is the word from James 4 verse 8. Those who have risen in their spiritual lives accept this change not as a threat, but as an invitation. While others stumble in confusion, they move forward with clarity. This is not to show off, but to build up. This is because those who have risen are called upon to lead others into situations they do not yet understand. That is part of your mission, not merely to rise, but to lift others up along the way. Look at Desmond Doss. He was a medic who refused to take up arms. Although he faced ridicule and misunderstanding from those around him, he remained steadfast in his faith. He eventually saved 75 lives overnight during World War II. His spiritual clarity made possible what was considered logically impossible. Your clarity at this moment may also transcend logic, but it will save lives. This is not an exclusion. The door is still open for anyone. Anyone can enter into coordination with God and become one of the chosen. However, timing is crucial. Opportunity does not wait forever. The chosen ones are not selected randomly, they have positioned themselves spiritually. They have built inner strength by praying while others play, listening while others laugh, and when the world is too noisy to hear the call. Many are called, but few are chosen. This is from Matthew 22:14. Even Tyler Perry was once homeless and rejected, yet he continued to follow the inner voice urging him to keep making plays that no one came to see. And when change came, he not only achieved success, but also took others with him. Now many are employed and inspired by the legacy of his obedience. What if your preparation today becomes a platform for tomorrow's generation? I ask you, are you faithful where no one is watching? Are you building when no one is watching? Are you listening when the noise of life scrolls through screens, distracts your mind, and tells you to push? O chosen one, transformation is not a class system. It is a yearning. God responds to the heart that pursues itself. If you are already walking this path, this moment will be a breakthrough. If you have just awakened, that is fine. The important thing is to respond now. This wave does not judge, but reveals. It reveals who is ready and who is resisting. And you, the chosen one, were never to remain neutral. You are the one who must stand at the forefront. O chosen one, when the divine transformation begins, it becomes undeniable. This is not merely something moving within your mind or whispering in your thoughts. No, this is a visible, undeniable movement of God. It is imprinting upon the heavens, the pig, and your soul all at once. Do you not feel it in the air already? Do you not feel the approaching, storm-like change that brings awakening, not fear? God has promised not vague and faint signs, but bold and clear signs. These are not mere coincidences or random events. It is a holy confirmation. Imagine yourself seeing a light shining in the sky that is not man-made. Or imagine yourself hearing a voice within your mind that seems to tremble eternally, not with fear, but with awe. I will show wonders in the heavens above and signs on the earth below, blood, fire, and smoke. This is from Acts chapter 19. Just as Joan of Arc heard the divine voice guiding her through war and destiny, you too will hear an undeniable divine voice when that time comes. You will recognize it immediately when others try to dismiss it as mere reason. It will not merely ring in your ears, but will resonate throughout your entire being. Everything will begin to feel different. The energy in your home, the quality of your relationships, and even the rhythm of your thoughts will shift. Your inner bar will begin to point more accurately toward a divine mission. Conversations will change. priorities will be realigned, and those who do not align with your destiny may quietly leave. Haven't you noticed already? The fact that there are people who keep their distance for no reason, and that there are doors that get hurt without any effort, is not a loss. It is an adjustment. God is clearing away the things that prevent you from going where you intend to go. Behold, darkness will cover the earth, and thick darkness will cover the peoples, but the Lord will come upon you, and His glory will appear upon you. This is the verse from Isaiah 60. Think of Nikola Tesla. He worked in solitude, yet it seemed as though he were downloading wonderful ideas from outside this world. He often spoke about frequency or vibration as if he were in love with something deep. He once said that if you want to know the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. He was realizing something. And you, the chosen one, are also called to align your mind with this divine frequency of change. The divine reset is global, but it will feel personal to you. When the world groans under change and others fall into panic, you will feel peace. Why is that? This is because, deep down in your spirit, you know that this is exactly what you have been preparing for. The fog is clearing. What once confused you will suddenly begin to make sense. What you once felt left behind will now feel like divine timing. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. This is from John 14:27. Guide. Look at Frank. Even while in a shelter surrounded by destruction, she wrote in her diary with hope, clarity, and an inner peace that stood firm amidst the external chaos. She said how wonderful it is that we don't have to wait even a single second to start making the world a better place. Her clarity did not come from the situation, it came from her spirit. Likewise, amidst this change, your peace does not come from the news or the environment. It comes from your connection with God. Therefore, when the signs appear, will you recognize them? Will you accept the mysterious beauty spreading across the sky, the tremor of the mind, and those who depart without warning? Or will you resist by clinging to the familiar while God calls you forward? This is both your warning and your invitation. Be like the 5 wise virgins in Jesus' parable. When the divine moment arrived, their lamps were filled with oil. They were ready. They were neither flustered nor flustered. It was their preparation that made entry through the door possible. Therefore, keep watch, because you do not know the day or the hour. This is from Matthew 25:13. Consider Barack Obama. He spent years preparing before receiving the global spotlight. His emergence was not sudden. It was the result of preparation meeting timing. And when destiny called, he did not hesitate. He took the first step. You are the same. Your moment may come suddenly, but your preparation determines whether you rise or hesitate. Being prepared means always keeping your spiritual oil full. Daily prayer, discipline, consistent meditation, the correction of thoughts, intentional relationships, and always aligning with God's will. This means speaking of the Holy Spirit's subtle urging, because these things are preparing you toward a sudden liberation. And yes, temptations do come. In the era of divine change, little confusion, temptation, and a false sense of urgency are sent. but you must keep your feet on the ground. Guard your mind, energy, and peace. Now is not the time to be swept away by all sorts of trends, opinions, or fears. Your eyes must be fixed on the one who calms the storm. Chosen one, the divine reset comes to everyone, but the experience varies greatly depending on your spiritual preparation. To those who have ignored God's whispers, shied away the call to adjustment, and numbed their senses to the truth, this change may feel like a violent shaking. It is like a spiritual earthquake where the ground beneath your feet splits open. However, for you, the chosen one, this very shaking will be an activation and a moment of deep acceleration. Because you have kept my word of perseverance, I will also keep you from the hour of trial that is to come upon the whole world to test those who dwell on it. This is from Revelation 3:10. Imagine yourself trying to swim against the current in a storm. Your muscles ache, your vision blurs, and you gasp for air. That is what unprepared people feel when God's current sweeps across the earth. It is not because God is punishing them, but because they refuse to learn how to float in God's presence. This moment is not about being superior to others, but about being prepared. And preparation, O chosen one, is what you have been reading in secret. Think of Frida Kahlo. Her physical pain could not swallow her creativity. Rather, her suffering gave birth to a body of work that resonates across generations. She did not fight the storm. She continued to paint within it. And her legacy became eternal. What if your current pain were to become someone else's survival guide? As the reset unfolds, those who have not yet fully received from God will lose themselves in a vortex of uncertainty. They will come to doubt the system, human relationships, and even their own identity. Their foundations, built upon sand, will crumble. However, to you, this change will feel like a divine wind pushing you forward rather than causing you to retreat. When the whirlwind passes, the wicked vanish, but the righteous are like eternal foundations. This is from Proverbs 10:25. O chosen one, have you not realized that recently you have been viewing the world from a different perspective than many around you? That there is a deep uniqueness within you even amidst adversity. That is not the ego. It is proof. It is proof that you were spiritually designed for this very historical moment. For those who are spiritually asleep, confusion will be accompanied by pain. However, if that pain leads them to turn to God, it can be a rewarding experience. This is not the end for them, it is an invitation. A divine reset is not a punishment, but a purification. Even those who have fallen can rise again if they surrender. Tear your hearts, not your garments, and return to the Lord your God. He weeps with grace, he weeps with mercy, he is slow to anger. When he is great, he turns away from bringing disaster. This is the word of Joel 2:13. Look at Paul, who came after Saul. He persecuted the early church and was feared and hated by many. However, God met him in a blinding light and transformed him into the giant of faith, the Apostle Paul. A single encounter turned everything in his life upside down. Therefore I ask, what if those who seem furthest from the truth today were to become great leaders of light for the next generation through a single encounter? Even at this very moment, God is extending His mercy. The lost can return. The key is awareness. The moment they recognize the change and surrender instead of resisting, they will begin to awaken. As the fog clears, the chosen ones do more than simply survive. They prosper, Now is the time to rise, and the time for your control to become your advantage. While others flounder in search of answers, your brilliance will cut through the noise. Your purpose becomes sharp, and your confidence becomes unwavering. And your presence, yes. Your very existence will become a lighthouse for those trying to escape the storm. Arise. Look for the light, for my light has come, and the glory of the Lord has risen upon me. This is from Isaiah 60, verse 1. Consider Nelson Mandela. He was imprisoned for 27 years. The world thought his influence had ended, but in reality, he was retiring in isolation. When he appeared, he became not merely a leader, but a symbol of unity and resilience. You too have passed through the season of silent retirement, and now the time of your liberation is approaching. Your voice is rising. I ask you, are you not underestimating the power God has placed within you? Are you mistaking your time of trial in the wilderness for weakness? What appeared to be a delay was, in fact, a period of divine development. And now, you are ready to walk, fully displaying the form to which you were called. This reset is not for worldly acclaim, it is for spiritual authority. It is stepping into the role that heaven has prepared for you. You do not need to be understood by everyone. You simply need to be faithful to the mission given to you. Chosen one, your spiritual success is measured not by applause, but by union with God. It is not measured by recognition, but by the radiance of divine purpose shining within you. Look at Guritem. She helped hide Jews during the Holocaust and was imprisoned for her faith. She lost her sister in the concentration camp, but she did not lose her faith. After the war, she preached forgiveness and healing all over the world. She was not merely a survivor, she was a sign. You are too. You are not simply experiencing these things. You are trying to become a signal of hope to others. So what does all of this mean for you? It means you are called to accept your own divine authority. It means believing that you have been prepared not just to endure change, but to lead it. When others can no longer sustain themselves, you remain standing, continue to praise, and continue to be the one who leads. This is when you shine. Not for pride, but for purpose. You will shine with grace, wisdom, grace, and brilliance. When you rise, others follow that light. They follow your footsteps, not your words. You are chosen by God. And this divine reset is your platform to become the catalyst for the transformation this world desperately needs. Chosen one, guarding your mind during this time is not an option. It is a necessity. As the divine reset begins to spread throughout the world, it is not only the environment that changes. The transformation begins within, deep in your soul, your thoughts, and your inner attitude toward God. And this internal change requires an undeniable level of spiritual strength and resilience. Are you guarding your mind, your most valuable asset, with due care? Now is not the time to be indifferent to your spiritual life. It is a time to be vigilant and intentionally choose what to give your heart to, what moves your mind, and with whom to walk intimately. Things that distract your attention appear disguised as entertainment. They are different. Negative things approach disguised as news, and spiritual fatigue hides disguised as daily life. But, chosen one, you were not made to be ordinary. Above all, take up the shield of faith with which you can extinguish all the fiery evil of the evil one. This is the word of Ephesians 6, verse 16. Look at Dietrich Bonhoeffer, a German pastor who opposed the Nazi regime. His spiritual brilliance took his life, but it could not take his soul. Even in prison, he wrote, preached, and prayed. Even though his body was bound, he preserved his spirit. Why should we be spiritually indifferent when freedom is right around us? Your connection with God is the lifeline that sustains you during this reset. Every prayer strengthens your armor. Every moment of quiet introspection sharpens your insight. Every obedient act strengthens your spiritual core. Do you not feel the urgency? Signs are everywhere, but those who are unprepared will call them coincidence. You are different. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to discern what is the will of God, what is good, pleasing, and perfect. This is from Romans 12, verses 2. This is not simply avoiding the darkness, it is opening to the light. Divine cleansing has come to wash away all falsehoods, old wounds, limiting thoughts, and habitual sins. God intends to remove those things that no longer serve His purposes. However, this is not punishment, it is preparation. Will you view this season as suffering or as sanctification? Think of Helen Keller. Despite being blind and deaf, she became a symbol of hope and intellect. She did not allow her own limitations to define her purpose. With the help of her teacher, Sully I, she stepped into a life of depth and influence. Likewise, the limitations of your past are nowhere near the spiritual talents that God is now seeking to awaken within you. I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit in you. I will remove the heart of stone from your flesh and give you a heart of flesh. This is the word of Ezekiel 36:26. O chosen one, when you guard your own mind, you are creating space for improvement. The more you align yourself with God, the more He entrusts you with power, spiritual authority, prophetic insight, and a peace that transcends human logic. You are not merely being purified, you are being called. This reset is a holy reset by God. It is performed first within you and through you. And yes, this reset is a divine intervention. The world has drifted far away from the spiritual axis. Materialism has overtaken meaning, fear has replaced faith, and confusion is obscuring the truth. God sees everything. And by His mercy, God is acting. Do you understand the mercy within this turmoil? A holy reset is not anger, it is self-regulation. If my people, who are called by my name, will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and forgive their sins and heal their land. This is the word of 2 Chronicles 7:14. Think of Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers. He, a television host with a gentle voice, used that platform not for fame, but for healing. In an era swirling with violence and division, he spoke of kindness, identity, and spiritual values. Through his purity, he ignited a fire of transformation. You do not need a loud voice to lead. You simply need to be in union with God. You must ask yourself now, what needs to be purified in my life? What noise is clouding my ability to hear God's voice? What relationships, habits, or thought patterns are making me spiritually numb? This reset is not merely a global event. It is a personal invitation. It is an invitation to come closer, go deeper, Let go. Rise higher. Yes, the world feels the vibration, but you feel the call. You will sense the moment the spiritual winds shift. And at that moment, your clarity returns. Your strength is renewed. Your talents begin to run at full power. But those who hope against the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. This is the word of Isaiah 40, verse 31. Just like Sojourner Truth, who rose from the status of a slave to become a preacher, activist, and a voice of liberation, you too are being exalted. Her name was not a symbol, it was a prophecy. Sojourner Truth means one who keeps the truth. She spoke the truth and carried it like a lamp in the darkness. That is your mission now. It is to become a carrier of truth in an age of chaos. Chosen one, this is not merely an alarm. This is your personal inauguration. You are not merely witnessing the reset. You are a part of it. You are not simply being purified. You are wearing a crown. You are not merely holding on. You are ascending to your true self. The reset is here. Your spirit must be preserved. Your purpose must be pursued. And your adjustment must be intentional. Chosen one, what you are feeling with your mind is real. An unprecedented wave is attempting to engulf the earth. It is not water, but a divine force. It is a spiritual surge that tests, purifies, and transforms the very structure of reality. And this wave is not merely coming to the world, it is coming for you. It is here to test everything you believe, practice, and are called to be. Haven't you felt it recently? Rising pressure, a quiet urgency within your soul, an unwavering sense that change has already begun. It is not anxiety. It is not a coincidence. It is God preparing you toward the ultimate spiritual test. It is a test that not only reveals who you are, but also determines what you intend to become. I have chosen you from the furnace of affliction. This is the word of Isaiah 48:10. This wave is not merely a momentary event. It is a mirror. It reflects clarity in the depth of your faith, the strength of your roots, and your alignment with God's purpose. Some will stand in the storm and ascend. Others will be swept away by the currents of confusion, doubt, and distraction. The difference is not random. It is determined by how spiritually prepared you are right now. Therefore, are you ready to ride this divine wave? Or will you be swallowed? Are you rooted in the truth enough to thrive when everything around you begins to shake? Look at Martin Luther, who ignited the Reformation. He did not suddenly gain clarity one morning. The courage to stand against centuries of religious corruption was born of years of prayer, learning, and spiritual struggle. He was ready. He saw the signs. And when the wave came, he did not cower. He led. O chosen one, the reset is not an event beyond the horizon. It is unfolding in real time right now. You are not preparing for the future. You are in it right now. Being prepared means more than simply knowing the Bible or praying. It means embodying faith in a form where your mind remains calm, fixed, and unwavering, even amidst chaos around you. It means possessing a clear mind, a strengthened mind, and a sensitive spirit. When others are in a panic, you will be listening. When others are speculating, you will be listening. This is because the chosen ones move with faith, not fear. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Whom shall I dread? This is from Psalm 27, verse 1. Consider Corrie ten Boom. She faced unspeakable horrors in a Nazi concentration camp. She lost her family, her comfort, and her freedom. Yet she never lost the secret of faith. She was spiritually prepared long before the test began. Her mind was trained in prayer, matured in forgiveness, and infused with God. When the waves crashed over her, they did not drown her but revealed her true worth. These divine waves do the same thing. They not only test your faith, but also expose your weakness. They distinguish between the superficial and the resigned, between the religious and the righteous, between those seeking comfort and the sanctified. Then, what does being spiritually prepared look like? It is starting each day intentionally. It is beginning with prayer before opening your phone and declaring the truth, even if you do not feel like it. It is saying no to things that distract you from your duty and saying yes in quiet time with God, even when the world is noisy. It means running your inner ear to hear God's voice in the midst of small signs or great storms. But the people who know their God will be strong and courageous. This is from Daniel 11:32. Remember Nelson Mandela, who was imprisoned for 27 years. The world thought his power had waned. However, in a secret place, he was preparing, reading, meditating, listening, and forgiving. Therefore, when freedom came, he did not simply walk out. He led the nation. He did not yield to the weight of the waves, but became the current itself that changed history. What are you doing during this season of waiting? Are you building up your mind? Or are you paralyzing your soul? Are you preparing for the waves? Or are you pretending they are not coming? Undoubtedly, the divine reset is already in progress. And while it tests you, it is also the greatest opportunity for growth. The waves are not there to destroy, they are there to enhance. They are there not to crush your purpose, but to activate it. Therefore, do not abandon your boldness, for this will bring you a great reward. You need patience, so that when you have done the will of God, you may receive what has been promised. This is from Hebrews 10, verses 35 through 36. During this period, you will begin to see signs. These are divine signals that God is on the move. They may not always be dramatic. Sometimes they appear in the smallest details. A passage that seems to leap out of a book in a moment of tranquility amidst the commotion. The words of a friend that speak exactly what your spirit needed. A dream that remains without fading away, an unexpected door opening the moment you were about to give up. These are not coincidences. Look at Rosa Parks, who changed history by sitting with the heavenly guide leading you in the wilderness. That single action was the result of hundreds of spiritual resolutions. It was a resolution to remain faithful, to be prepared, and to continue listening. When the moment arrived, she had no doubt. It was already within her. Her spirit was waiting for the wave, and she responded to it with courage. So how can you attune yourself to these divine signals? Slow down, listen rather than speak. Maintain your peace. Make room for God to speak. Eliminate distractions disguised as entertainment, human relationships, or duty. Live with spiritual intention, not as a spiritual autopilot. Whether you turn to the right or to the left, a voice behind me will say to me, "This is the way, walk in it." This is from Isaiah 30:21. O chosen one, the divine reset is not passive. It is participatory. It is about you taking action. It requires you to approach change, not to hide from it. It requires you to choose faith when fear seems easier. It requires you to move when God tells you to, even if the ground looks unstable. You are being tested not because you are weak, but because you are ready. Ready to go deeper. Ready to be exalted. Ready to become your true self as seen through God's eyes. The waves are coming. You will either rise with them or retreat beneath them. But here is a beautiful promise. God does not leave you to face it alone. God will give you signs, help you compose your mind, and equip you with wisdom, insight, and grace. Not merely to survive, but to prosper. This wave awakens your talents. It purifies your pride. It pulls and stretches your faith. It clarifies your mission. And when it passes, you will not be the same as before. You will be stronger, sharper, brighter, closer, and bolder. This is because what God is doing within you right now is not temporary. It is eternal. This is your moment. This is your test. And you were born for Him. Therefore, rise up. Chosen one, strengthen your faith, guard your mind, discern the signs, and prepare to ride the divine wave that changes everything. It begins with yourself. Chosen one, now that you have received this message, it is no longer mere words. It is a spiritual covenant. You have now been endowed with divine clarity. And that clarity now comes with weight. It is the new seal of obstacles in your life, awakening, adjustment, and action. The wave does not come. It is already here. Therefore, the moment has arrived for you to step completely back into your true self. Everything you have endured, the silent nights you questioned and answered yourself, every frustration that felt like defeat, every strange season that failed to achieve meaning, was preparation. And now, with the shift in the spiritual atmosphere, you are beginning to understand the reason. There was a purpose in suffering. There was a design in delay. Within, there was a calling buried there. And this message was a divine confirmation that what you have always believed was right. Clinging on when it would have been easier to leave was the right answer. Believing when there was no evidence was the right answer. Maintaining integrity while compromise was celebrated was the right answer. God was watching. Heaven was recording it. And now the reward is unfolding, not only on the surface, but within you. This message was not for entertainment. It was meant to give strength. It was not merely to convey information, but to awaken what had been dormant. If your mind was shaken while listening or reading, or if you felt something welling up inside you, you already know that you are not the person you used to be. You are now stronger, sharper, and spiritually refined. You are no longer asleep regarding the mission of your life. You are ready. You may not be perfect, but you are ready. And that readiness is exactly what God needed to move. Here, I will speak directly to your heart. Thank you. Thank you for being with us in this sacred moment. Thank you for your time, your generosity, and your willingness to listen not merely to my voice, but to the Holy Spirit behind these words. Whether this is your first encounter with this channel or you have walked this journey with us until now, your presence is never insignificant. You are the theory of the spiritual family of the remaining ones who hear God's call and actually respond to it. That yearning faith of obedience is more important than you think. You are a deeply valuable being. Your very existence is a blessing. Your interest, participation, and faith are already precious to us, irreplaceable and precious. And now, O chosen one, I leave you this blessing. This is not merely a farewell, but a spiritual seal for your life in this season of reset. May the peace of God, transcending all perception, guard your heart and mind as you step into the unknown. May your insight become sharper, your spiritual ears more sensitive, and your heart tuned more deeply to the frequency of heaven. May all falsehoods that sought to define you be shattered. May the truth of who God has said you are rise up and take its rightful place in your soul. May all distractions lose control over your concentration. May all delays turn into divine timing. May all wounds turn into wisdom that guides you to your purpose. You were not made for chaos. You were born for clarity. You are not a product of confusion. You are a vessel carrying conviction. You are not here to assimilate into your surroundings. You are here to rise up and lead. God has chosen you for times like these. As the divine reset unfolds on earth, your light will never go out. It will shine even brighter. This is because it is not set by your own power, but by the one who is the fire within you. No one can extinguish that fire. May grace pursue you. May wisdom protect you. May doors that man cannot close open. And may you walk boldly into the mission that heaven has declared to your life since the beginning of time. You have been chosen. You are protected. You cannot be stopped. Now advance vigorously. Root yourself in prayer and focus on your purpose. And do not forget, no matter what happens, you are not alone. It is the God who called you who will carry you to the end. Be strong and faithful until we meet again. And never forget that you were born for this moment. M.